Alyssa lies to the classroom. Alyssa lies every day at school. Alyssa lies to the teachers as she tries to cover every bruise.
Futures Without Violence is a nonprofit organization that their main goal is to end violence against women and children. It was started by Esta Solar, which she also helped pass the passing the Violence Against Women Act of 94. Futures Without Violence works with women and children and helping them pursue legal matters against their offender. They also help to educate doctors, nurses, judges, and people that have to deal with victims of domestic violence and how to go about doing that without making things worse. They also help teens and young adults in overcoming their childhood experiences with violence and how to go out and get a job and be a member of society.
Well, it wasn't 2 weeks after she got married that Wanda started getting abused. And she cries that she needs him, and someday he'll change. But now's not a good time to go.
In the picture that you see, it is a map of the entire United States, and it shows which states give training for judges that are dealing with domestic violence cases. As you can see, a lot of them are unclear, but there is a more substantial amount of states that do provide training for judges compared to those that do not. North Dakota is unclear, but I think in providing training for judges, it definitely helps getting the victim to testify if the judge understands what they're going through. The Changing Minds campaign is sort of a new addition to the Futures Without Violence project. It focuses on the impacts of childhood trauma in the future with children of abuse growing up to become adults. They partnered with this campaign. They partnered with the United States Department of Justice and the 2010 Defending Childhood Initiative, which was started by Attorney General Eric Holder. He is not in office anymore, but he definitely is still involved in this Changing Minds campaign. The campaign was kicked off at the White House, where the former Attorney General was in attendance. I have listed a few videos that I cannot show due to time, but I've listed a few videos that go hand in hand with the Changing Minds campaign about adult influence that children have had growing up that have helped them deal with their childhood experiences and trauma that they have dealt with as
And the fighting just got worse every night. Behind their couch she'd be hiding. Oh, what a sad little lie.
Next, I'm going to talk about statistics. The prevalence of domestic violence in the United States. On average, more than 3 women a day are murdered by their husbands or boyfriends in the United States. That is an extremely high number of women. And Futures Without Violence helps the victim, whether it be the woman or the child or whoever the victim is in the case, helps them to pursue legal action against their offender and without the fear of the offender coming after them for testifying. Minot has a domestic women and children shelter that helps the victims of domestic violence or child abuse to also help pursue legal action and gives them a place to stay while they are doing so. Women are much more likely to be victimized than men. That's not really surprising. Men are also victimized, just less reportings. About 3/4 of the persons who commit family violence are male. It's not mentioned in this statistic, but also alcohol and drugs are a big factor. Sometimes, more than likely, they're involved in the domestic abuse. Women ages 20 to 24 are at the greatest risk of experiencing non-fatal intimate partner violence. This hits home for me because it's college-age students, and Minot State University has a Title IX program that helps students to report sexual abuse. Sexual abuse can be a part of domestic violence. As stated, that most of the abuse is from a male, so sexual abuse somewhat comes into that. But they definitely work with students to help prevent future sexual assaults from happening.
She walks to school with a lunch she packed. Nobody knows what she's holding back. Wearing the same dress she wore yesterday. She has the bruises with a linen and lace.
Approximately 1 in 3 adolescent girls in the United States is a victim of physical, emotional, or verbal abuse from a dating partner, a figure that mirrors victimization rates for other types of violence affecting youth. So what that means is that young girls are being victimized by the men that they date. Most of this stems, not all, but most stems from a childhood experience of abuse in the home, or seeing their mother being abused and thinking that's the way that men treat you if they like you, which is not true. And I know when you're younger, people say, oh, if a boy hits you, it's because he likes you. That's not true, and that should stop being said, because it leads to domestic violence in that child's adulthood.
Nothing I did was ever good enough to make him happy. So I guess he gave me what he thought I deserved. But it would kill me if he ever raised his hand to her.
Heard the screaming, then a silence that chilled my soul. Prayed that I was dreaming when I saw the ambulance in the road.
There are many professions that can help or deal with victims on an everyday basis, and a lot of training should go into these professions on how to deal with domestic violence victims and children who have witnessed domestic violence or have been abused themselves. One of these professions is physicians. There's a term, IPV, which is intimate partner violence, and they go by a scale that rates what has happened to you or what's happening to you in your home. One is, does your partner physically hurt you? And it's a 1-to-5 ratio. The next one is insult or talk down to you. So how often does your partner insult you or talk down to you? The next one is threaten you with harm. So that's where it's getting a little bit more severe. And then the next one is scream or cuss at you. So if a patient scores more than a 10, it's suggestive of intimate partner violence, but also judging on their history of visiting the doctors and stuff and what sort of things they came in with. Like if a child repeatedly comes in with a broken arm or bruises, that can be a sign of abuse, child abuse, and then social services needs to be notified immediately. However, when a domestic violence victim comes in, it can be hard to get them to admit these things because they don't want to get their partner in trouble, or they are scared to report them because they don't want their partner to be mad at them because they feel that their partner loves them. So that can be a little bit more difficult for physicians. They can also look at their histories and symptoms. Healthcare records can show a lot about what's happening with a person, like I mentioned before about child abuse and domestic violence. So that is a major way to look into if intimate partner violence is happening in their home.
When you twist back my arm, 'cause man, I thought I knew it wouldn't do me no harm.
Futures Without Violence does not just deal with domestic violence. They also deal with on-campus crimes such as Title IX, as I mentioned before. They work with students and faculty members to bring awareness to campus sexual violence. They also help with law enforcement, or have a connection with law enforcement to help bridge that gap of reporting and being afraid to report. They also have a program that deals with human trafficking, which is a huge, huge, huge problem in North Dakota. They help to heal the victims that have been through human trafficking. They also help to prevent it. They do campaigns around the country to help people realize signs of human trafficking, how they can help if they see somebody that they feel has been human trafficked. They also focus on men and young boys and how to help them end domestic violence against children. They offer courses, sort of, I guess it's like a program, but they offer like courses on how to treat women. If a young boy has grown up in a domestic violence household, they will mirror that image of how to treat women. And so Futures Without Violence helps to break that cycle and stops them from hurting other people like they've witnessed in their childhood.
It's time to fight. She must have done something wrong tonight. The living room becomes a boxing ring. It's time to run when.
There are special things that you can do through Futures Without Violence that can help them and the community around you to beat domestic violence. One is to be a change maker. This can happen by, there's a side program, I guess we call it, through Futures Without Violence, and it's called That's Not Cool, and you can be an ambassador for them to help go around to schools and do like different functions like that about domestic violence. 2 is to be a coach. Like I mentioned before, they have a program that helps coach boys on how to treat women. They go into high schools and work with athletes and coaches of athletes to be respectful to other people. Parents are change makers. They can ensure that the university your child is attending is doing everything they can to prevent sexual assault from happening. Along with domestic violence, they can spot the signs. If their child, he or she, is in a domestic violence relationship. Healthcare professionals, I sort of talked about that before. They can help the healing impacts of the victims. make that process a little bit more easy on them, college students, they can educate their peers on how to spot the signs of domestic violence and how to stop that from happening. Educators, you can visit, there's on the Futures Without Violence website, there's a toolkit. It's called Start Strong Toolkit to implement school-based programs that promote healthy relationships for middle schoolers. So basically they work with starting them young so that when they grow up, they will be respectful towards their peers.
Some folks talk, but everybody look the other way.
In order to help with domestic violence through Futures Without Violence, you can also donate to Futures on their website, futureswithoutviolence.org. You can learn about their movement. They explain everything that they do on the website. Their resources, they have a great resource page for whatever problem you need, whether you have questions about domestic violence, whether you think you're in a relationship that is volatile. If you need somebody to contact on who to talk to if you're in a relationship, they have multiple resources. They're a great resource-based program. And get the facts. If you feel like your partner is not treating you with equal respect, then you need to leave. This program can help you with that. I know there is Dr. Phil's wife, I can't think of her name right now, Robin, I think her name is. She has an app that has come out that camouflages itself as a calculator, and if you push it, it will notify the police. If you're in a domestic violence situation, that can help. That can be the difference between life and death for you.
The country club, everyone thought they were Ken and Barbie, but Ken was always getting way too drunk.
When children are in a household where domestic violence is occurring, there are different short-term side effects and long-term side effects that can stay with the child through adulthood. Some of these short-term effects are generalized anxiety, sleeplessness, nightmares, difficulty concentrating, high levels of activity, increased aggression, increased anxiety about being separated from a parent, intense worry about their safety of their parent. So, for example, bedwetting is a number one sign of child abuse. Also, there are other signs like teachers and daycare providers can look out for when dealing with children, such as, like I said before, if they don't want to be separated from a parent, if it's their mom and they don't want to leave their mom because they're afraid of what will happen to her when they're not around, that could be a sign. Some of these are very difficult to diagnose because some of them could just be childhood behavior. So it makes it all the more difficult for educators to.
Another sleepless night, I'm still staring at the ceiling. I can hear him fighting with her for no good reason. Will this ever end? Will this house be
Saturday night brought the neighbors all out on the street. We watched as the firemen carried you out, then we stared at each other's feet.
This is for the girl who doesn't know what to say and doesn't know what to do. She wants to tell someone, but she feels so ashamed. You're gonna make it through. There's gonna be a change, like sunshine through the rain. So don't be afraid. It's time to heal your pain. Oh, 'cause you're a fighter. You're a survivor. So no more woman who's so in love, but he puts his hands on you. Don't wanna tell your friends, cause you wanna pretend like everything is cool. I know it's hard, look at your battle scars, but if he don't change, things will never change. No, you gotta be wiser if you wanna be a survivor. All this you already know, girl, pack your things and go. You got one life, one home, and you're not alone. Stand up with me and you'll see. Let's say it together, see. No more, I can't be broken because I'm stronger than ever. No more, today it's over and there's a brighter tomorrow. No more, no more, no more, no. No more, no more, no more. I decided to write an anthem for all women and victims all around the world against domestic violence and abuse.